For a more complete story of the beaver, why not contact the Canadian Wildlife Service in Ottawa?
Why did you decide to go so public with your story?
I paid a pretty heavy price for transitioning, and so at a certain point I thought, I've already lost everything and everything's happened. I'm going to be me, and I'm going to show other people that it's okay to be feminine for a guy. And so by coming completely out of the closet, it just liberated me to the point where let's do this, let's talk about it, and let people know that this is okay.
And I couldn't agree more. Having a discussion about transgender people helps us sit down and make well-reasoned decisions about what we want in our society. Because otherwise, all you have is unwarranted intolerance.
She said, stop being trans or leave. So that, to me, stop being trans isn't something I could do. It'd be like telling me to stop being, 6'2" or leave. And I was who I was.
Hey, that's understandable from both sides. Sometimes when you're in a relationship, you think you can live with some aspect of your partner's personality, but as time goes on, you find out that you really can't. That's why so many marriages end in the first year.
I was trans before we married. I was a trans parent for 23 years. It floored me, it scared me, because I didn't know how to not be trans.
So, your wife must have been with you for several years. I mean, you show pictures of your children, and there's a real progression of age through those images, which leads me to believe that you weren't actually displaying as trans for a good part of your relationship. As such, you do know what it's like not to act out as trans. But you want to play it off as if you don't know what to do and that you're scared. It seems to me like you're trying to avoid taking responsibility for your actions in this relationship. I mean, if you weren't honest with your partner and then suddenly change your behavior after years and years, you're really the one at fault here.
2007, when I actually stepped forward and started getting myself educated as to who I was and what this was, I was pretty naive.
Exactly what I was saying. Stefonknee was married for a very long time and then started to act differently. But it leads me to have a question. I mean, if you're a gay man, you really don't need to be educated about the fact that you are sexually attracted to men. So why did Stefonknee need to be told who she was? Why'd she have to learn? And why doesn't she know a fundamental aspect of her personality for most of her life? I mean, she did say that being trans for her is like being 6'2".
But that naivete would quickly come to a crashing halt. At age 46, after 23 years of marriage and 7 kids, Stefonknee realized she wasn't a crossdresser. She was transgender, a person whose gender is different than the sex they were assigned at birth.
So after 23 years, suddenly Stefonknee changes, and if we listen to her narrative, she was the one that was put out. Her ex-wife was demanding that she stop being trans, and she just couldn't do it. But she was able to do that for 23 years, because she didn't know what trans was. Stefonknee is responsible for where she's at. The people who are put out in this situation is her wife and kids.
That's right. Stefonknee has moved on, believing that she will never be accepted by her wife and children. These days, she's got a job plowing snow and has a new family made up of friends and a new relationship.
There's days I forget my past. I can actually go a week without even thinking about what was before.
Okay, now I know I'll get some flack here, but what sort of self-absorbed person can go for a week without thinking about their 7 children? And not only that, she frames it like it's a good thing, as if she's leaving some sort of long-standing pain behind her. Quite frankly, it's disgusting. And call me crazy, but maybe Stefonknee's wife and children aren't rejecting her because she's trans. Maybe, just maybe, they're rejecting her because of who she is, how she acts, and how she apparently views her family. It's very odd behavior.
I was married, I can't deny I have children, but I've moved forward now and I've gone back to being a child. I don't want to be an adult right now.
Oh, okay.
Just live my life like I couldn't when I was in school.
How are things in your life now?
Well, I have a mommy and daddy, a adopted mommy and daddy, who are totally comfortable with me being a little girl.
Who would be comfortable with that? Who sits back and goes, wait, there's a 46-year-old man dressed in the little girl's clothes and wants me to be his daddy. Oh yeah, that makes perfect sense. Come on in. I'll get you some Barbies and then I'll tell you when you should be going to bed. Why aren't these people saying, I'm sorry, you really need to talk to someone and get yourself sorted out?
And their children and their grandchildren are totally supportive. In fact, her youngest granddaughter, when I was 8, a year ago I was 8, and she was 7.
I'm 46 going on 8. I mean, and they let them play with their grandchildren. What the fuck is wrong with these people? How are their parents allowing this to happen? You have children playing with a mentally ill man.
And she said to me, I want you to be the little sister, so I'll be 9. I said, well, I don't mind going to 6, so I've been 6 ever since.
So then, like, the little girl says, oh, I want to be a carrot. And then he's like, oh, I'll be an avocado, and I've been an avocado ever since. So then she just lays on the floor in the fetal position, waiting for people to come up and tell her how strong and courageous she is. What the fuck is going on, man?
I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
Thanks again for watching. If you liked the video, please share, comment, or subscribe. Have a good one.